I've been told a lot that people don't want to talk to me. They don't want to have a discussion or a debate regarding social justice in the scriptures and the Bible. Even though they always talk about these issues, they're not interested in having a conversation with me. But they're telling me it's nothing personal. They just have other projects that take precedent. They have other things that are more important to do than that. And you know what? I do too. I've got some more important things to do, so here we go.
The first ones that would hit me are my senators. They'd be angry at me. The second ones would be the House. And the third ones would be, frankly, my base and a lot of Republicans out there and a lot of Democrats that want to see border security. Okay, what else?
Yeah, a while back, probably within his first year, probably the first 6 months of Donald Trump, I said that if he doesn't get the wall built, or at least funded, and get work starting kind of thing, if he doesn't break ground on the wall, he won't get reelected. I think that the wall is one of the primary reasons that he was elected. So if he doesn't break ground, then there's no chance of him being reelected in 2020. If he does break ground, I think it's a virtual guarantee that he would be reelected in 2020. This is the issue. This is the symbolic issue. And the Democrats, I think, know that. That's why they're standing so much against this. It's $5 billion, I believe was the number. To Democrats, $5 billion is a sneeze in a handkerchief. They don't care about the money. It's not about the money for Democrats, obviously. It's about the symbol. And so President Trump knows that. He knows that he'll hear it from the senators, House representatives. He knows he'll hear it from his base, and he's exactly right about that. He's 100% correct about that. Let's listen to the rest of this juicy, spicy little clip.
So why not sign the other bills, though, so some of these workers can get paid?
This is classic.
Do you think I should do that? No, do you think I should do that, John?
I mean, it's not for me.
I mean, I watch your one-sided reporting. Do you think I should do that? Hey, John. No, seriously, John, do you think I should just sign?
Well,
yes, he does think that.
John, do you think I should just sign?
I'm saying that if you sign that, these workers can start getting paid. The government can
So you would do that if you were in my position? You'd do that?
I'm not in your position. I'm asking you if that's something you
I'm asking you, would you do that if you were in my position? Because if you would do that, you should never be in this position. Because you'd never get anything done. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you very much.
Yes, that is gold. Anyway, So that was classic Donald Trump, and it is one of the best parts about his presidency. It's just nonstop comedy. Anyway, so here's the thing. I don't support the funding of the wall. Now, don't read too much into that, because I don't support the funding of almost anything. There was a great question asked in the David Chilton book, oh my goodness. Productive Christians in an age of guilt manipulators, right? So there's a great question. Should a godly government drop bombs or drop bread? And the answer is neither, because a godly government wouldn't have enough money to do either one of those things, and has no jurisdiction to do either one of those things. Now, here's the thing. So here's the reality. Here's the reality of the situation. I think we need to admit a few things. Number one, a border wall in particular, is not against the scripture. There's nothing ungodly about a border wall. There's nothing ungodly about any kind of wall. So people who make that argument, I'm not even really sure how they make that argument, but I'd love to see some of their scriptural, verses, whatever, to make that argument. I don't think you can, but I'd love to see it if somebody has a good argument why a border wall would be unbiblical. But I would say that funding it with unjust taxation is unbiblical. So in other words, if you wanted to build a wall and people were voluntarily giving money, I bet you a lot of people would voluntarily give money to a wall if it was completely voluntary. I would have no problem with that. And they bought the land, according to the way they were supposed to, and things like that. I would have absolutely no problem with that at all. There's nothing ungodly about having a border wall. There's nothing ungodly about protecting your borders. There's nothing ungodly about any of those things. I just don't support it being socialized. In other words, I don't want to be forced to pay for a wall. I don't want other people forced to pay for a wall. Just like I don't want anyone forced to pay for anything that, is unjust, is ungodly in any way. I don't want to have to pay for someone's, laziness. I don't want to have to pay for someone's abortions. I don't want to have to pay for any of these things, right? So that's the thing. Now, So out of principle, I'm against the border wall. But here's what I'm actually for. The symbol of the border wall. Because I think that this is the real issue. I mean, Democrats don't care about $5 billion of funding. Democrats sneeze $5 billion. They don't care about that. That is all an illusion. What they care about is the symbolic nature of the wall. The symbolic nature of the wall. Because they know that if we are able to build this wall, this is a symbol of us saying, look, we are a sovereign nation. We do not respond. We do not answer to the global community. We do not answer to the European Union. We do not answer to Mexico or any other country. We answer to ourselves, and that's that. That's actually something that all of us should support. That is very true. We do not answer to any other nation. That is a good thing. That symbol is a good thing. Now, every government answers to God. And the reality is that the United States is under God and should answer to God according to his standards. And unfortunately, in many ways, we do not. We do not. So we're just like all the other nations in Psalm 2 that are trying to cast apart their bonds. They're trying to break their bonds apart. They're trying to rebel against the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. And so in many ways, we do that. But we should answer only to God. And so it doesn't matter if every other nation doesn't care about what God has to say. We should. And we should be our own nation. We should have our own borders, and we should do our own thing according to God's standards. That symbol is extremely important. And I think the reason why you have so many progressives against this border wall idea is because at the foundational level, they actually disagree with that. They do not think that the United States should be a sovereign nation. They do not believe in that. They do not believe in that. They think we should answer to this global community or whatever it is that they feel like that we should answer to. That's wrong. That's absolutely wrong. So though I do disagree with funding the wall because I don't think it's being funded in a just way, or it would be funded in a just way, I do support the symbol of it. We can defend our borders. We can do that. We have the right to do that. And so while the libertarian in me, says, hey, listen, immigration should be fairly open. If you want to come here and you want to work and you want to make a business, you should be able to do that. The libertarian in me says that, and I think the scriptures say that that's okay as well. as long as we have all this ungodly stuff going on, as all these welfare programs, all of these things that immigrants can take advantage of, I don't think it's necessarily open season for everybody. I mean, look, if we're paying for people's survival and things like that through these welfare programs, we're forced to do that, by the way. I think that it makes sense that you should have some say into who's coming in and who's not coming in. Again, I'm not saying nobody should come in, but the reality is, money is being extracted from me at gunpoint without any regard for who gets it. I don't think you can look to the scripture and say that it supports anything like that. In fact, the scripture, when it talks about charity and when it talks about giving to the poor, it's a very personal thing. You have a relationship with that person. You can know if they're just abusing the system or if they're actually really trying and they just need a little help, because sometimes everybody needs a little help. But that's just it. It's a personal thing, and the church takes care of it, and people take care of it person to person. But right now, that's not how welfare works. Basically, money is given out, willy-nilly, and there's some minor checks that are easy to get around and things like that. But we can have situations where literal criminals are coming in over the border to do illicit crimes, and yet we're paying for their survival. That's not godly. That's not godly, no matter what kind of a spin you put on that. And so the reality is that I do support the idea behind the wall. In other words, the symbol of the wall, even if I don't support the funding of the wall itself out of principle. And so, hey, that's just a few thoughts while I'm playing video games here. Now, what I'd like to do, though, is not have these crazy monologues where I'm just talking to the camera and all of that. I know a lot of you like that, and that's fine. I'd really like to talk about the issues from a biblical perspective with points and counterpoints with someone from the social justice perspective. So listen, guys. Find your courage. Find your courage. It's time. It's well past time for us to have these conversations. You're always talking about how you want to have a conversation. You want to have you want to move this conversation forward and this and that. Well, guess what? You have to actually do it. You can't just say it. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. God bless.